Okay, so I'm going to do a quick crash course on how to build ranch fence. This is wood fence. This will go for privacy fence, really any fence that's going to stretch a long distance. Actually, this could be done with short distance. This is going to be more complicated when you go over a lot of topography, right? I'm going down slopes, up slopes, turning corners. As you guys can see through the drone shot, there's a lot of fence that's being done here, and there's a bunch of angles, drops, rises. So it's very simple. It's not as complicated as you might think. So let's just get into it. So on my first post, now down there, you can see that I have a gate going right here. So I pulled my string to that point here, and I'm going to pull a new string here. Now my height that I'm doing here is about 61 inches is what I'm doing, which is about an inch over 5 feet. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and mark that 61-inch mark, right? So when I have that 61-inch mark, I'm going to either one, wrap a string around this, but in this case, I'm going to do a simple nail. I'm just going to drop a nail into this. There's a nail right there. Into this post, and then all I'm going to do is hook the end of my string line onto that loop. Now I'm going to look down my line here, and I'm going to see where my elevation changes. So when I look down this line, I'll take you over here, I can see right at this post, I'm going to go up a little bit. Now this isn't perfectly level right here, but it's very gradual, so I'm not worried. My fence isn't going to be 61 inches perfect all the way across. If we did 61 inches on every post, you'd be going up, down, up, down, up, down, up, down, up, down, up, down. You'd look really terrible when you do your fence. So what you want to do is look for a large change in elevation, and that's when you want to draw your next point. So this is my starting point here. I'm going to come up to this elevation right here, to this post right here, because that's where you can see it steps up, maybe what, a foot and a half, 2 feet. So that's my next point. So that's where I'm going to take my next 61 inches. So at this point, I'm throwing down my tape measure to the base of the post. I'm going to mark 61, and I'm going to do the same thing that I did before. I'm going to grab a nail. I'm going to set this nail right here at the 61-inch mark, and I'm going to grab my string line. So here at this mark, I'm going to go ahead and pull this tight, and I'm going to wrap a couple times. I'm going to wrap my string line on top of itself, and then I'm actually going to come up under behind this and pull it under there, and that'll hold my string line there. So now that I have my second point marked, I'm going to look at the spacing that I have to the next spot. I can see I step up here, and I'm kind of on a slope that goes all the way up. So what I want to do from this point is just take a gradual mark to that corner. So I'm not going to worry about this post, this post, this post, or that post. I'm going to get my 61 over there so that this climb of this fence is going to be clean and gradual. So we're going to grab our string line and pull that up to that top point up there. Now that I'm at this top point here, I'm going to go ahead and do the same thing. Rinse and repeat, baby. I'm going to do the same thing. I'm going to pull my tape out. I'm going to mark my 61. And I'm going to sink a nail. Same thing. I'm going to pull this string taut. You can kind of see maybe there in the camera, you can see that gradual climb. That's what I'm going for. So you can see through that process, I maintain a consistent line. You're not looking for a perfect 61 inches. You're looking for the visual when you step back, right? Because 90% of people that see a fence are going to be looking at it from 10, 15, 20, 100 yards away. So you want the entire idea of the fence to be cohesive. So now that I have that set, I'm going to come back and measure this because this is my biggest rise right here. So this is where we jump up the majority of that rise. So I'm going to check what this looks like and see how close we are to 62. We're at 57. So 62 is about right, or 61 is about right there. So I'm actually going to drop a nail in here, and this is going to be my new consistent. So I can take this And I'm gonna mark 61 right there. And I'm gonna go ahead and drive. And I'm just gonna drop that string on that. So I'm gonna have a pretty solid straight line here. We're gonna jump up here because we're going up the hill. And then from here on out, we should be sitting pretty good. So if I come and measure this, we're sitting at about 63, so we're about 2 inches high. Here we're sitting at 63, 2 inches high. Here we're sitting at about 60.5, so we're about a ½ inch low. And here, obviously, we're sitting perfectly at 61. But when you step back and look at this, what you see, the visual thing you see is not an inch or 2 inch discrepancy. What you see is a gradual climb of the fence. We're not standing back and looking at the ground of the fence. We're looking at the fence. So we want the fence to flow nicely. So now that that's set up, I know where my top line is. And when my top line's set, what I'm gonna go through is I'm gonna leave this string line up. I'm gonna set my top rail all the way butting straight up, kissing this line. And once I set that top rail there, I can take this string line down, and then I have my determinant. So that's the determinant. From there on out, the rest of your fence spacing comes down to the math that you've done. So in my case, I have, what is it? I think it's about 11 inches between each rung. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna go through and I have a story pole, and I'll show you guys that here in a second. I have a story pole that is 44 inches long. And I know from the math that I did on the height of my fence and how much spacing I need in between my fence rails, I know that 44 inches from the bottom of my top rail to the top of my bottom rail is exactly what I need to get the perfect spacing for the other two rails in between. This is basically something that came in the pallet. I just utilized it. And what I did was I drove a nail through the bottom of it that came right out at the bottom. And then I made sure that from this nail point to the top of here, it's 44 inches, which is my spacing. So all I'm gonna do is butt this to the top, boom. I have a mark, and I can walk down here and do the same thing, butt it to the top rail, create a line. And now I have lines on all of my posts for the top of my bottom rail. So now all I have to do is grab my nail gun and my boards and bring those tops right up to that line, and my bottom rail is done. In this case, the reason I'm nailing is because I'm doing this solo. So I'm nailing all these up, and then I'm going back with a screw gun to screw them all in, just because the time that it takes to hold a board in place and set a screw and lag a screw, it's more difficult to keep my boards in the right spot. So if I can just tack all these up with a couple nails and then go through with my screws, it's a lot more precise, it's a lot easier, and it's a lot more time effective wearing these bags. Because when I go through with the screws, all I have is a DB sack and a screw gun, and I just walk the fence line and zip it up. So let's go ahead and set a couple bottom boards just to show you guys what it looks like. So I'm just using my pass load here to tack these up. I have my last board that I set. I'm gonna go ahead and set this one here. Again, maybe this isn't best practice, but this is what happens when you roll solo. I'm just going to set this board up. I'm gonna butt it up with the previous board. So that's set. I'm gonna check my spacing here because I know my spacing isn't perfect. I'm long, but this is what makes this pretty easy is all I have to do, instead of pulling out tape measures and measuring, I'm just going to see where that middle spot is. I'm gonna mark it. I'm gonna grab my saw, cut. And then I have my scribe mark right here. And I'm gonna tack that up. It's that simple. And then we just rinse and repeat. If I have a little bit of a gap where your board is separated at the top because it's not picked up from the other side, I'll go ahead and throw one nail in. I'll come down and get this set up. I'm a little long here. Pull out my speedster, mark that half, pick this up, hit my spacing. I'm good. It closes my gap over here. That's all for you, ladies and gentlemen. and then use its width and repeat this process over and over and over 4,000 feet. So here's what I do. I cut a block at 11 inches. I sink a nail through it. This is going to be reused. I bring this over to here. I set it on my top rail. I just tap it in. Again, I'm not worried about being crazy specific. This is meant to hold the 16-foot side of my board so I can tack it up on that side. I tack it on this side. I'm long. If you guys are wondering why most of my boards are long, is because when you set over 4,000 feet of post, your dimensions are never going to be spot on 8 foot on center. And if they are, it's going to take an insane amount of time to make sure you're pulling those exactly, as well as these posts dry, they may go this way, that way, depending on how wet you pour the concrete, how wet the post is. So I usually pull my distances a little short because obviously it's very easy to cut this down from 16, but if I end up over 16, one, I'm gonna waste an entire board because I'm gonna have to cut a 6 or I'm gonna have to cut an 8 footer extra long, which creates a waste piece. This way I can lose, 3 inches on the end here. I can still reach my 16 spacing, and I'm not worried about it. So whenever I do fences over 400 or 500 feet, like we're doing 4,000 feet, whenever I go over 400 or 500 feet, I usually try to shoot for my posts shorter than longer. If I'm doing 400 feet, I can take the time to make sure each one is perfect. But again, we're setting over 500 and something posts. I would rather get through it and make cuts as I go than spend, an extra day pulling immaculate measurements. So that's just my way of doing it. If you guys want to be perfect for your 4,000 foot fence, I'm not knocking it. I wish I could do that, but when it comes to time, it really just doesn't make sense. And to mark this and then grab my saw and cut it, really doesn't add that much time. Whereas if you go short, that's a problem. Now my next spot is over here, which is why I have a second block. I'm just gonna go ahead and throw this in sideways. The reason I do it sideways is it makes it easier to pull out once this is set. I just push down on it, and then I pull that out. So it's very simple, very easy. So now I have my second rail. Let's go ahead and I'm gonna set this 8 footer. You wanna stagger your seams. So because of neglect on my part, I accidentally put my top rail and my bottom rail the same, which means 3 rails are gonna be the same. I fix it down at that corner. So for this run, I'm gonna have some on the same seam, but on this last one, I'm gonna stagger it. Some people say you don't need to stagger it. Coming from a building background, the more you stagger the seams, the more strength you have. So I like to stagger. Usually I go 16 foot, 8 foot, 16 foot, 8 foot. But again, I messed up on this first little run here. So we're just doing 16 foot and then an 8 foot one in the middle, and then things get fixed as we go down the road. So right now I'm gonna pull a measurement here. So I can go ahead and set this block. It's 11 inches. Right, we're sitting at 11 inches there. I'm gonna pull my tape, if I can get it out. And I'm gonna just take a rough measurement to center here, and we're looking at 90, let's say 94 3/4. So I'm gonna pop one of these boards off and cut it at 94 3/4. What? I am. Very simple. Set aside. Come down here. I'm sitting at 11 inches already. That's pretty much all there is to it. I'm gonna rinse and repeat this process all the way down. That's all she wrote.